If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, so let's jump right in, huh? Looks like we've got a ton of research here on the 2025 NFL honors. And wow, you were really interested in this year's awards.
Yeah.
Especially all the buzz around the MVP race.
Yeah, the MVP race is definitely the hot topic this year. And it makes sense. It was a close one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Their names are everywhere. So what is it about these two that makes them such strong contenders for MVP?
Well, they both had incredible seasons, but in different ways. Like Josh Allen, he was putting up some crazy numbers, throwing for tons of yardage, leading the league in touchdowns.
Yeah, you can see that reflected in all the searches here. Josh Allen's stats, Josh Allen passing yards. People were definitely impressed.
Exactly. But then you've got Lamar Jackson, and he just brings a whole different element to the game. He can throw the ball downfield with pinpoint accuracy, but he can also take off and run for 50 yards.
Oh, yeah. He's so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I bet those highlight reels were getting a ton of views.
For sure. And here's the interesting thing. Even though Allen might have had the edge in pure passing stats, Jackson's team actually went further in the playoffs.
That's a really good point. It shows how the MVP isn't just about individual stats. It's about leadership, too, and making an impact on your team's success.
Exactly. It's about elevating the whole team, not just your own personal achievements.
So we've got these two quarterbacks, both putting up amazing numbers, both leading their teams to wins. So what do you think gave Josh Allen the edge in the MVP race? What were people saying about him?
Well, one thing that really stands out is how many searches there are for Josh Allen MVP speech.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people were expecting him to win, maybe even searching for parts of his speech after the ceremony.
Interesting. So even before the award was announced, people were already talking about Allen winning. I'm curious, though. Did you see anything that explains why people were leaning towards him? Was it just the stats, or was there something more?
Now, that's where it gets really interesting. Besides the stats, we also see a lot of searches for Josh Allen leadership and Josh Allen clutch plays. It seems like people weren't just impressed by his arm. They were also impressed by his ability to step up in big moments and rally his team to victory.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's that something extra, that intangible quality that separates the great players from the just good ones.
Right. It's not just about the numbers. It's about the impact you have on the game and on your team.
It's funny how even though the MVP is an individual award, it always sparks these huge debates among fans. It's like it makes everyone think about the bigger picture, the teams, the league as a whole.
Definitely. It becomes less about who threw for more yards and more about what kind of leadership people admire, what kind of player represents the spirit of the game.
Exactly. It's about the stories, the rivalries, the moments that capture our imagination. All right, enough suspense. Let's cut to the chase. Who actually won the MVP?
Okay, drumroll, please. Based on all the research, it's pretty clear that Josh Allen won the 2025 NFL MVP. The search trends, the talk about his performance, the anticipation for his speech, it all points to taking home the trophy.
There you have it, folks. Josh Allen is your 2025 NFL MVP. Now, I know we've got a ton more to talk about. We barely scratched the surface here. So let's move on and see what other insights we can uncover about the night.
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
So we've got our MVP. But the NFL honors is about so much more than just one award. What else jumped out at you from all this research?
Well, besides the MVP buzz, there's definitely a lot of interest in the other big awards, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and of course the Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is always a special award.
Oh, for sure. That one's always a highlight. It's amazing to see how these players use their platform to give back and make a difference. What kind of searches did you find related to that award?
We see searches like Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees 2025 and Walter Payton Award winner. It's clear that people were interested in who is being recognized for their work off the field.
Makes sense. It really shows you the character of these athletes, their commitment to their communities and the causes they care about. It's inspiring.
It really is. Speaking of inspiring awards, let's talk about those other categories. Any interesting findings in the searches for Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year?
I did notice a few things. For instance, there were quite a few searches for Justin Jefferson stats. So I'm thinking he might have been a strong contender for Offensive Player of the Year.
Oh, good catch. Justin Jefferson had a phenomenal year. he was consistently putting up big numbers, making those highlight reel catches, he definitely would have been in the running for that award.
And on the defensive side, I saw some searches for Micah Parsons sacks and Micah Parsons Defensive Player of the Year. Sounds like he was making a huge impact.
Absolutely. Micah Parsons is a game changer on defense. Such a dominant player. His ability to disrupt plays and get to the quarterback is incredible. He was definitely a top contender for that award.
It's amazing how these individual awards reflect the bigger stories of the season, you know? It's like each award tells a story about a player's journey, their impact on their team, and their contribution to the league as a whole.
I agree completely. They give us these touch points, to appreciate individual achievements within the larger context of the NFL season. And, even if we don't have all the answers from these searches, the fact that people were searching for this information tells us a lot.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Why are people searching for things like NFL Honors 2025 date and time or NFL Honors channel? It's because they want to be part of the excitement. They want to experience these moments as they happen.
You're right. It's like we all want to celebrate these achievements together, to witness the culmination of a season's worth of hard work and dedication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the power of these awards. They bring us together as fans. They spark conversations and debates. And they ultimately deepen our connection to the sport.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a diehard fan who analyzes every stat or a casual viewer who just enjoys the thrill of the game. The NFL Honors has something for everyone. It's a chance to reflect on the season, appreciate the talent, and get excited for what's to come.
And it's fascinating how you, our listener, were clearly interested in all aspects of the event. From the MVP race to the smaller details like the date, time, and channel, it shows a real appreciation for the entire scope of the NFL Honors.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground here. From Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson's incredible performances to the inspiring stories behind the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. We even uncovered some hints about other award winners based on your searches. But there's one more thing I want to explore before we wrap up.
I'm all yours. What's on your mind?
It's something we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
But I think it deserves a deeper dive. The rivalry between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson really seems to have captured everyone's attention this season.
Absolutely. It's a rivalry that goes beyond individual games. It speaks to a larger conversation about different playing styles, different leadership approaches, and different paths to success.
Exactly. That's what makes it so interesting. We see it reflected in the searches comparing their stats. The constant debate about who deserves to be MVP, the way their names are always linked together in these discussions. It feels like we're witnessing something special unfold.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a real sense of excitement and anticipation for what's to come. And this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of rivalry in the NFL.
Yeah.
Think about Brady and Manning, Montana, and Young, these legendary battles that become part of the league's history.
Exactly. It's like those rivalries define an entire era, shaping the conversation and captivating fans for years to come. And it feels like Allen and Jackson are on a similar path. They're both young, incredibly talented, and driven to succeed.
And the fact that they play in different conferences adds another layer of intrigue. It makes their potential playoff matchups even more exciting. Those rare occasions when we get to see them face off on the biggest stage.
It's exciting to think about how their rivalry will evolve in the coming seasons. Will they continue to push each other to new heights? Will one of them ultimately emerge as the defining player of their generation? These are questions that only time will answer.
I know. It's what makes following the NFL so captivating. The unpredictability of it all, the constant evolution of players and teams, and the emergence of new storylines that keep us all on the edge of our seats.
Well said. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. But I think we've only scratched the surface of what makes the NFL Honors so special. It's more than just an awards show. It's a celebration of the sport, its history, and the amazing people who make it all happen.
I couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that the NFL is more than just a game. It's a story that unfolds week after week, season after season, and it captivates us with its drama, its athleticism, and its moments of pure brilliance.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But before we say goodbye, I want to leave you, our listener, with something to think about. We've seen how Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson dominated the conversation in 2025. What do you think their rivalry will look like in the years to come? Will they continue to elevate each other's game? Will one of them become the defining player of their generation? These are questions that only time will tell. But it's fun to speculate, to imagine the possibilities, and to see how these two incredible athletes continue to shape the NFL landscape.
And who knows, maybe next year you'll be the one predicting the winners before the NFL Honors even airs.
That's right. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 2025 NFL Honors. And we'll see you next time for another exciting exploration of the topics you care about most. Okay, so we've got our MVP. But the NFL Honors isn't just about one award. You've got all this research here on the other categories. What else stood out to you?
Well, along with all the MVP talk, there's definitely a lot of interest in those other big awards, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. And then, of course, the Walter Payton Man of the Year. That one's always special.
Yeah, you're right. That one's always a highlight. It's so cool to see these players using their platform to make a difference off the field. What kind of searches did you see related to that award?
Let's see. We've got searches like Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees 2025 and Walter Payton Award winner. So clearly, people were curious about who was being recognized for what they do off the field, for their contributions beyond the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really speaks to the character of these guys. Their dedication to their communities and the causes they're passionate about. It's pretty inspiring.
It really is. And speaking of inspiring, let's get back to those other awards. Did you find anything interesting in the searches for Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year?
I did, actually. For example, there were a lot of searches for Justin Jefferson's stats, which makes me think he was a strong contender for Offensive Player of the Year. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Justin Jefferson had an amazing year. He was putting up huge numbers every week, making those incredible catches. Yeah. He definitely would have been up there for that award.
And on the defensive side, I saw some searches for Micah Parsons' sacks and Micah Parsons' Defensive Player of the Year. So it seems like he was making a big impact, too.
Oh, absolutely. Mike Parsons is a game changer on defense. He's a force to be reckoned with. His ability to disrupt plays and get to the quarterback is just unreal. He was definitely a top contender for that award, for sure.
It's really amazing how these individual awards can reflect the bigger narratives of the season. Each one tells a story about a player's journey, their impact on the team, their contributions to the league as a whole.
You said it. They give us these moments, where we can appreciate individual brilliance within the larger context of the NFL season. And even if we don't know all the answers from your research, the fact that people were searching for this information tells us something.
Okay, I'm listening. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. Why would people be searching for NFL Honors 2025 date and time or NFL Honors channel? It's because they want to be a part of it. They want to experience those moments as they happen.
Yeah. You're right. It's like we all want to share in these achievements, to be a part of the celebration and to see all that hard work and dedication pay off.
Exactly. And that's what's so powerful about these awards. They bring us all together as fans. They spark conversations and debates. And ultimately, they just make us feel more connected to the sport.
I completely agree. Whether you're a hardcore fan who analyzes every stat or just a casual viewer who loves the excitement of the game, the NFL Honors has something for everyone. It's a chance to look back on the season, appreciate the talent, and get hyped for the future.
And it's really cool how you, our listener, were clearly interested in every aspect of the event. From the MVP race to the little details like the date, time, and channel, it shows a real appreciation for the whole scope of the NFL Honors.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here. From the incredible performances of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to the inspiring stories behind the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. We even found some clues about other potential award winners based on your search patterns. But there's one more piece of the puzzle I want to look at before we wrap things up.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's that?
It's something we touched on briefly before, but I think it deserves a closer look. The rivalry between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. It seems like it really captured everyone's imagination this season.
You're absolutely right. It's a rivalry that goes beyond just individual games.
Yeah.
It's a conversation about different styles of play, different leadership approaches, and different paths to success.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so compelling. We see it in the searches comparing their stats, the constant debate about who deserves to be MVP, the way their names are always linked together. It feels like we're watching something special unfold.
It does, doesn't it? There's a real sense of excitement, a feeling that this is the start of something big. And this isn't the first time we've seen a rivalry like this in the NFL. Think about Brady and Manning Montana and Young. These epic battles that become part of the league's history.
You're so right. It's like these rivalries come to define an era, shaping the conversation and captivating fans for years. And it feels like Allen and Jackson are on that same trajectory. They're both so young, incredibly talented, and hungry to win.
And the fact that they play in different conferences adds another layer to it. It makes those potential playoff matchups even more exciting. Those rare occasions when they actually get to face each other on the biggest stage.
It's exciting to imagine how this rivalry will play out over the next few seasons. Will they push each other to be even better? Will one of them emerge as the defining player of their generation? These are questions that only time will answer.
That's the beauty of the NFL, though, isn't it? The unpredictability, the constant evolution of players and teams, and those new storylines that keep us all on the edge of our seats.
So true. Well, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave you, our listener, with one final thought. We've talked a lot about how Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson dominated the conversation in 2025. But what do you think their rivalry will look like in the years to come? Will they continue to push each other to new heights? Will one of them cement their legacy as the best of their generation? These are questions we can only speculate on for now, but it's fun to think about, to imagine the possibilities, and to watch as these two incredible athletes continue to shape the future of the NFL.
And hey, maybe next year you'll be the one predicting the winners before the NFL honors even starts.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much we can learn just from looking at what people were searching for.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a window into what everyone's thinking about.
Yeah, it shows us what excites them, what they're debating, what really sticks with them. And in this case, it seems like the 2025 NFL Honors was a night full of excitement, anticipation, and celebrating the best of the best.
I couldn't agree more. From that close MVP race to the inspiring stories behind the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, it's clear that people were really invested in every part of the event.
You know, speaking of the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, I think it's worth mentioning again just how special that award is. It's a reminder that these athletes are more than just players. They're role models, philanthropists, leaders making a difference in their communities.
It's a powerful reminder that their impact goes way beyond the field. And the fact that so many people were searching for information about it shows that people want to see those positive contributions recognized.
Absolutely. It's about celebrating the human side of the game, the values and character that make these athletes such great role models. And it's interesting how, even though we didn't find out exactly who won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award from your searches, just the fact that people were curious about it tells us something.
You're right. It shows that people are looking beyond the stats and scores. They're interested in the stories of these players and how they're using their platform to do good in the world.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so interesting. It's not just about finding the answers. It's about uncovering those deeper layers of meaning, the things that connect us to the sport on a human level.
That's a great point to wrap things up on. It's not just about wins and losses, but about the stories, the rivalries, those moments of inspiration that make the NFL so captivating.
Well said. So to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has left you feeling informed, intrigued, and maybe even inspired.
Keep that curiosity alive. Explore the stories behind the numbers, and let your love for the NFL keep growing.
And hey, maybe next year you'll be the one searching for the winners before the show even airs.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 2025 NFL Honors. We'll see you next time for another exciting exploration of the topics that you care about most.